Have you ever had your wife's boyfriend bail you out of jail? Trust me, I've heard every joke, seen every raised eyebrow, felt the confusion and pity in people's eyes when I tell this story. But sometimes life doesn't follow the script you'd expect. 3 years ago, my marriage to Lydia was falling apart. We'd been together 12 years, had 2 kids, owned a house with a mortgage we could barely afford. Classic American dream turned nightmare. I was working 60-hour weeks at a warehouse, coming home exhausted, barely present. She was drowning in mom duties, feeling invisible, abandoned. We stopped talking, stopped trying, stopped caring. When she told me about Dimitri, I wasn't even surprised. He was everything I wasn't. Owned a successful restaurant downtown, spoke 4 languages, actually listened when she talked. She met him at her book club that I'd mocked her for joining. The affair had been going on for 6 months before she confessed. Most guys would have exploded, kicked her out, hired a lawyer, but I just felt relieved. Finally, an excuse to stop pretending we were happy. We agreed to separate quietly, figure out divorce details later. She stayed in the house with the kids. I moved into my brother's basement. Dimitri started coming around for dinners, picking up my kids from school. My own children called him Mr. D and talked about his cool car. I started drinking heavily. Not violent drunk, just numb drunk. The kind where you sit in bars until they close, then find another bar. One night, after downing shots of whiskey at my usual dive, I decided to drive to our old house. Just wanted to see it, maybe catch a glimpse of my kids through the window. Pathetic, I know. Got pulled over 2 blocks away. Blew a .18, almost twice the legal limit. The cop recognized me from my daughter's soccer games. Rough times? He asked while cuffing me. I just nodded. Sitting in that holding cell at 3 a.m., they gave me one phone call. My brother was out of town. Parents lived 3 states away. My work buddies wouldn't have bail money. I scrolled through my phone, landed on Lydia's number, heard Dimitri's voice answer. She's sleeping, he said. This is important? I'm in jail, I said flatly. DUI, need bail. Long pause. Which precinct? Don't wake her up, I said. I'll figure something else out. Which precinct? He repeated. I told him. Hung up. Figured that was that. But 90 minutes later, the guard called my name. Dimitri was standing at the desk, signing papers, pulling out his credit card for the $5,000 bail. We walked to his Tesla in silence. Finally, he said, you need help. What do you care? I muttered. I don't, he said. But your kids do. They talk about you constantly. Stella cries at night, asking why daddy doesn't live with them anymore. Oscar keeps setting a place for you at dinner. That broke something in me. Started sobbing right there in his expensive car. Snot and tears everywhere. This man who was sleeping with my wife, raising my kids, living in my house, had to watch me completely fall apart. He drove me to a 24-hour diner instead of my brother's place, ordered coffee and eggs. Listen, he said, I'm not apologizing for loving Lydia, but I'm not trying to replace you. Those kids need their father, and right now, you're not being one. Easy for you to say, I spat. You have everything. I have someone else's everything, he corrected. You think I don't know that? You think Stella doesn't tell me how you used to make better pancakes? How Oscar won't play catch with me because that's your thing? We talked until sunrise. He told me about his own father, an alcoholic who died when Dimitri was 15, how he promised himself he'd never let kids suffer like that. He offered to pay for rehab, said he had connections at a good facility. Why would you do that? I asked. Because someday those kids will be old enough to understand what happened. I want them to know everyone tried to do right by them, including me. I went to rehab, 30 days inpatient, then outpatient therapy. Dimitri covered it all. Never told Lydia where the money came from. She thought I'd used savings I didn't have. During family counseling, the kids drew pictures of our weird modern family. Me, Lydia, Dimitri, all standing together. The counselor called it surprisingly healthy. Got my license back after a year. Dimitri testified at my hearing. Told the judge I'd maintained sobriety, was attending meetings, had become a responsible father again. The judge looked confused by our dynamic, but granted the reinstatement. Last month was Stella's 10th birthday. She requested all 3 of us help with her party. Watching Dimitri and me hang streamers while Lydia directed us, neighbors assumed we were brothers or cousins. When someone finally asked, Stella announced proudly, that's my dad and my bonus dad. The divorce was finalized last year. Lydia and Dimitri got married last month. I was invited but didn't go. Not because I'm bitter, but because some boundaries should exist, even in our strange situation. Instead, I took the kids camping that weekend, taught them to fish like my father taught me. Dimitri still checks in monthly, asks if I need anything. We're not friends exactly, but we're something. 2 men who love the same kids, who've seen each other at our worst, who chose to build something functional from the wreckage of traditional expectations. People hear this story and think I'm weak, that I should have fought harder, been angrier. Maybe they're right, but my kids have 3 adults who love them, show up for them, demonstrate that even broken situations can be handled with grace. That's worth more than my pride. Last week, Oscar asked if Dimitri could come to his father-son baseball game since I had to work. I said yes. Later, Oscar texted me a photo of them together, both wearing matching jerseys. The caption read, bonus dad hit a home run. I smiled, saved the photo, went back to work. Sometimes the life you rebuild from ruins is stranger, but stronger than the one that fell apart.